When a teenage girl's sister constantly borrows her things without asking, she decides it's time to set some serious boundaries. Fed up and feeling disrespected, she locks her door, thinking it's a simple solution. But when that small act sets off a chain of events, things quickly spiral out of control. Watch to find out how it all unfolds and decide for yourself. Is she the a-hole?
Hey, Reddit. My name's Rachel. I'm 18, and I think my family is completely overreacting. Or maybe I'm the one in the wrong. Honestly, I don't even know anymore. All I did was lock my door after my sister kept taking my stuff without asking. But now she's acting like I betrayed her. My parents are mad, and the whole house is tense. So, am I really the bad guy here? Let me explain. I have a younger sister, Lily, who's 16. And for as long as I can remember, she's been treating my room like her personal shopping mall. Clothes, makeup, jewelry, even random things like my phone charger. If she wanted it, she took it. And the worst part? She never asked. IT started small. So at first, I tried to let it go. A sweater here, a hairbrush there. Annoying, sure, but nothing worth making a huge deal over. But then it got worse. My favorite jeans? Went missing for a week until I saw her wearing them in an Instagram post. My new foundation? She borrowed it and somehow managed to spill half of it. And don't even get me started on the time she took my necklace, one my grandmother gave me, and lost it at a friend's house. I talked to my parents about it so many times, but they never took it seriously. She's your little sister. Just share. Or, you have so much stuff. What's the big deal? The big deal is that it's my stuff. And I'm tired of constantly having to hunt down my own things like I'm playing some messed up scavenger hunt. But the final straw? That happened last week. And that's when I knew I had to do something. It happened last Friday. I had just gotten home from school, exhausted and looking forward to a quiet night in. I had this perfect plan. Take a long shower, do my skincare routine, and finally wear this brand new sweater I had bought a few days ago. It was soft, oversized, and honestly the comfiest thing I had ever owned. But when I opened my closet, it was gone. T first. I thought maybe I had left it somewhere else. But no, I knew I had hung it up. And that's when I checked Lily's room. I didn't even have to go inside. Her bedroom door was wide open, and there she was, lounging on her bed, wearing my brand new sweater like it had always belonged to her. Worse, she was eating hot Cheetos in it. I just stood there, staring. Are you kidding me? Lily looked up, completely unfazed. Oh, this? Relax, I was going to give it back. I lost it. No, you weren't. You never do. You always take my stuff without asking, and I'm sick of it. She rolled her eyes and took another bite. God, why are you being so dramatic? It's just a sweater. Just a sweater. The same way my necklace was just a necklace. The same way my makeup, my clothes, my jewelry, everything she took, was just something that didn't matter to her. But it mattered to me that I turned on my heel, marched back to my room, and slammed the door. And that's when I decided I was done. If my parents weren't going to stop her, I would. So the next day, I bought a lock. And that's when everything really exploded. The next morning, I went out and bought a lock for my door. Nothing crazy, just a simple doorknob lock with a key. It took me maybe 10 minutes to install, and once I was done, I felt this wave of relief. Finally, I could have my own space without constantly worrying that Lily was sneaking in and taking my stuff. For the first time in years, my room actually felt like mine. That peace lasted about 6 hours. That night, I was lying in bed, scrolling on my phone, when I heard it. Lily's footsteps coming down the hall. Then, the sound of my doorknob jiggling. She tried again, and again, and then, Rachel, why is your door locked? I ignored her. I knew exactly what she was doing. She was looking for something to take. Rachel, seriously, let me in. I sat up and called back. What do you need? She hesitated. My straightener. It's in your room. You took it last week, remember? Silence. Then she huffed. Okay, well, I need to borrow your mascara. Nope. Oh my God. Stop being selfish. I almost laughed. Selfish? She was acting like she had a right to my things, like locking my own bedroom door was some kind of crime. I didn't say anything else, and after a few more dramatic sighs, she stomped off. I figured that was the end of it. I was wrong. The next morning, I woke up to my mom standing in my doorway, arms crossed, looking like she was about to scold a toddler. Rachel, why is your door locked? I blinked at her, still half asleep. Because I put a lock on it? Her frown deepened. Take it off. Now I was getting annoyed. Why? It's my room. Because this is a family house, and we don't lock each other out, she said. Like that was some kind of universal rule. I sat up fully. Mom, Lily keeps stealing my stuff. I've asked her to stop. I've asked you to make her stop. You never do. So I locked my door. Problem solved. Mom sighed, rubbing her temples like I was the one giving her a headache. Rachel, she's your little sister. You know how she is. Just let her borrow things. She doesn't borrow them. She takes them. And half the time, I never get them back. Mom gave me that I'm trying to be patient look. I'll talk to her, okay? But you don't need a lock. Take it off. I stared at her. I'd heard that before. I'll talk to her. She never did. Or if she did, it never mattered. No, I said. Her expression hardened. Rachel, no. I'm not taking it off. She looked stunned, like she couldn't believe I was actually standing my ground. Then she scoffed, threw up her hands, and walked out of my room, muttering something about teenagers being impossible. I thought that was the end of it. Then my dad got involved. A few hours later, I was in my room, enjoying the rare peace and quiet, when I heard the voice and why Dad's. Rachel, come downstairs. Now. You know that tone? The one parents use when they're not mad yet. But you know it's coming? That was the tone. I sighed, braced myself, and went downstairs. My dad was standing in the kitchen, arms crossed, looking way too serious for something as small as a lock on my door. My mom was next to him, nodding like she had already filled him in. And of course, sitting at the table with the fakest innocent expression ever was Lily. Your mom told me about the lock, Dad said. Take it off. Just like that. No discussion. No questions. Just an order. I crossed my arms. No. His eyebrows shot up. Excuse me? Dad, Lily keeps stealing my stuff. I've been dealing with this for years. I've asked her to stop. She won't. I've asked Mom to stop her. She won't. So I did the only thing I could do to protect my own things. Mom cut in. Rachel, this is our house. You don't get to just install a lock without permission. I let out a bitter laugh. Oh, so now you care about permission? Funny, because Lily's never once asked for permission before taking my things. Lily scoffed. Oh my God, it's not that big of a deal. I turned to her. Then why are you so mad about the lock? She didn't have an answer for that, Dad sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. Look, I get that you're upset, but locking your sister out isn't the solution. I raised an eyebrow. Then what is the solution? Because I've been waiting for one for years. More silence. Just exchanged looks between my parents. Finally, Dad sighed. You're taking the lock off, Rachel. End of discussion. And that's when I snapped. No, Dad. End of your discussion. But I'm done letting Lily treat my stuff like it's hers. I'm done waiting for you guys to do something. The lock stays. Dad's jaw tightened. Then we'll take it off ourselves. I shrugged. Fine, but I'll just put it back on. Or I'll start keeping my stuff somewhere else. Maybe at a friend's house. Maybe I'll start locking my closet. Or maybe, I looked straight at Lily. I'll start going into your room and taking whatever I want. And I won't ask, just like you never do. Lily's eyes widened. You wouldn't. I smirked. Why not? You said it's not a big deal, right? She shut up real fast. Dad sighed, rubbing his face like I was the problem. This is ridiculous. I shrugged again. Yeah, it is. But not because of me. And then I turned around and walked back to my room. I locked the door. And this time, nobody tried to open it. The fallout came later. For the rest of the day, the house was tense. No one spoke to me, which was honestly a relief. I stayed in my room, enjoying my newfound sense of security. No more worrying about my things disappearing. No more feeling like my space wasn't mine. But by dinner, the silent treatment turned into something worse. I came downstairs to grab some food, only to find my mom and dad sitting at the table with that look. The one parents get when they're about to lecture you. Lily was sitting across from them, Smirking like she had already won, I ignored them and went to get a plate. But my dad cleared his throat. Rachel, sit. I sighed and turned around. What now? Mom gave me a disappointed mom look. You need to apologize to your sister. I actually laughed. For what? Locking my own door? Lily pouted. For making me feel like a thief. I blinked. You are a thief? Mom gasped. Rachel. Dad rubbed his temples. Look, we're not saying Lily is perfect, but she's your sister. You're being cruel over something so small. I put my plate down and crossed my arms. Small? You mean like the hundreds of dollars worth of makeup and clothes she's stolen? The jewelry Grandma gave me that just magically disappeared? My headphones that I had to buy twice? My diary that she read out loud to her friends? Lily had the audacity to roll her eyes. You're so dramatic. I turned back to my parents. But sure, I'm the cruel one. They didn't have an answer for that. Just more sighing. More exchanged looks. Finally, Dad sat back in his chair. Fine, keep the lock. But if I hear you're locking her out just to be mean, I repeated, no. I'm locking my door to have basic privacy and personal boundaries, things you guys refuse to give me. Mom tried one last time. Rachel, family is about sharing. I shook my head. No, family is about respect. And I don't get any. Then I grabbed my plate, turned around, and went back upstairs. After that, the energy in the house shifted. Lily still tried to act like she was the victim, but I think even she knew she lost this battle. My parents backed off, though I could tell they weren't happy about it. A week passed, and for the first time in years, I finally had peace. My room was my own, and my things stayed exactly where I left them. Lily still sulked about the lock, but she didn't dare to say anything to my face. Or so I thought. One afternoon, I came home from school, dropped my bag by the door, and went upstairs. But the second I turned the doorknob, my stomach dropped. The door swung open without resistance, and my lock was gone. I stood there for a second, too stunned to move. Then I marched downstairs. Emma, Dad. They were in the living room, acting like everything was normal. My dad barely looked up from his phone. What? I held up my key. Where is my lock? Mom sighed like she could not be bothered. Oh, that? We took it off. My heart pounded. You did what? Dad set his phone down and gave me his calm dad voice. Rachel, we talked about this. The lock was never a permanent solution. Talked about it? No, you talked and I said no. You went behind my back and took it off anyway. Mom groaned. You've made this whole thing into some ridiculous war against your sister, and it's exhausting. We're a family. We don't lock each other out. I laughed, actually laughed, because what else could I do? Oh, right. We don't lock each other out. Unless it's me locking my room to keep my things safe. But when Lily locks the bathroom door so she can do her makeup for an hour, that's fine. When you guys lock your bedroom door at night, that's normal. But I set one boundary, and suddenly I'm the villain? Mom crossed her arms. You're being dramatic. Dad sighed. Rachel, we get that Lily taking your things is annoying, but she's your sister. You're not supposed to treat each other like enemies. I felt like I was going insane. Annoying? You think it's just annoying? She's been stealing from me for years, and you've never once punished her for it. Neither of them answered. Because they knew I was right, I shook my head. Fine. You want me to be the bigger person? I will. Then I turned around, marched upstairs, and did the only thing I had left. I took everything valuable. My makeup, my jewelry, my clothes, my chargers, and stuffed them all into my backpack. Then I grabbed my phone, texted my best friend, and said, Hey, can I crash at your place for a few days? If my parents weren't going to protect my space, then I was going to protect it myself. And I had a feeling they wouldn't like what happened next. I slung my backpack over my shoulder and stormed downstairs. My parents were still in the living room, probably thinking I had just gone upstairs to sulk. Mom looked up and frowned. Where are you going? I didn't slow down. Somewhere my things won't get stolen. That got their attention. Rachel, stop. You're not leaving this house over a stupid lock. I turned at the door and glared at them. It's not about the lock. It's about you two never listening to me. You've let Lily walk all over me for years and done nothing about it. So fine. If you won't respect my space, I'll go somewhere that does. Dad sighed, rubbing his temples. Rachel, you're overreacting. I laughed bitterly. Am I? Or are you just mad that I finally did something about it? I opened the door, stepped outside, and nearly ran straight into Lily. She was standing on the porch, eyes wide, holding a shopping bag. The second she saw my backpack, her face twisted into a smirk. Are you seriously running away? Over a lock? I clenched my jaw. No, I'm leaving because of you. She scoffed. God, you're such a drama queen. I stared at her for a moment, then smiled sweetly. By the way, I went through my things before packing. You know what I found? Lily's smirk faltered. What? I pulled a familiar bracelet out of my pocket, my favorite one, the one she swore she never took. Her face went pale, Mom's eyes widened. Lily, is that? I held it up. Oh, don't worry, Mom. I'm sure she was just borrowing it. Right, Lily? Lily stammered. I, I was gonna give it back. I laughed. Oh, I know. Because now, you're finally out of excuses. I turned back to my parents. So? Still think I'm overreacting? They looked at each other, finally realizing just how deep this went. For the first time in my life, I saw something in their expressions I had never seen before. Guilt, and maybe, just maybe, regret. Mom glanced at Dad, then back at me, her face softening. Rachel. Her voice was quieter now, more measured. I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much this was affecting you. Dad nodded slowly, his usual stern demeanor melting away. We should have been paying more attention. You've been right about this all along. I didn't say anything for a moment. Part of me wanted to scream, to throw every frustration I had in their faces. But I didn't. I just stood there, holding the bracelet in my hand, letting the silence settle between us. Finally, I spoke, but my voice wasn't nearly as sharp as before. I'm not doing this anymore. I shouldn't have to lock my door for some peace of mind. You're my parents. You're supposed to protect me, not let her walk all over me. Lily had stopped smirking. Her eyes were wide, almost guilty. She knew she'd crossed a line, but she wasn't ready to admit it. I didn't mean to take your stuff. I didn't think it would be a big deal, she muttered, avoiding my gaze. Well, it was a big deal, I snapped. And you need to stop thinking you can just do whatever you want because it's no big deal. You can't just take what isn't yours, Lily. She opened her mouth to respond, but my mom held up a hand, cutting her off. Enough. We all stood there, tension thick in the air. But for the first time, the dynamic between us felt different. My parents were finally seeing the bigger picture. Mom took a deep breath, then said, "We're going to fix this." She turned to Lily, who flinched. "Lily, you're going to go get Rachel's things. All of them. And then, we're going to sit down and talk about why this has gone on for so long." Lily's face twisted in annoyance. Ugh, fine. But there was no fire in her voice anymore. There was nothing left to argue with. Rachel, Dad said, his voice soft but firm. Can you come sit with us? We need to talk about how we can all move forward from this. I nodded. I wasn't ready to just let everything go. Trust was a long road to rebuild. But I wasn't running away either, so I sat down on the couch. I looked around the room. It wasn't perfect yet. I didn't expect everything to magically change overnight. But something had shifted. My parents were finally taking my side, and Lily was seeing that her actions had consequences. I couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this was the start of things getting better. But then again, I couldn't help but wonder, what else was I still going to have to fight for? We spent the next few hours talking, really talking, and for once, I didn't feel like I was the only one fighting for my space. Lily apologized, not because she was forced to, but because, for the first time, she realized the impact her actions had on me. She admitted that she'd gotten comfortable taking my things without thinking, and my parents promised that this wouldn't happen again. They took down my lock, sure, but they made it clear that it wasn't about taking away my boundaries. It was about finding a way to respect my space without the need for constant locks and fights. They even set up a schedule for when Lily could borrow things. Only if she asked first, no exceptions. IT was a start. Over the next few weeks, things didn't magically fix themselves, but there was progress. I no longer had to worry about my things disappearing, and for the first time in years, I could leave my room without a constant knot in my stomach. But I can't help but wonder if I was too harsh, if I'd really needed to lock my door, or if there was another way I could have handled it without pushing my family to the breaking point.
After everything that went down, do you think she was justified in locking her door, or did she go too far? Was she the a-hole, or was it finally time to set some boundaries? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. There's always more drama to unpack.